The night was cold, and the wind moved across the empty land, far away from human towns. In a broken place filled with stones and dust, a group of aliens gathered. Their voices were sharp, their faces hard. In the middle of them was a woman, not human, but alien. Her skin pale, her eyes silver like metal. They dragged her to the edge of a deep well. The well was dark, its water filthy, its walls wet with slime. The leader of the aliens spoke, his voice cruel. "You refused us. You broke the law. Now you will die here." The alien woman tried to fight, but she was weak. They pushed her, and she fell down into the darkness. Her body hit the hard stone. Pain spread through her. The aliens laughed above, then walked away, leaving her alone. Down in the well, she cried for help, her voice echoing against the walls. "Please, help me, someone." But the night was empty. No answer came, only the sound of dripping water. Her heart filled with fear. Her eyes looked at the black sky far above. She screamed again, louder, desperate. Her voice was broken, but still, strong enough to carry into the night, and then a sound not alien, not cruel, but human. A man's voice called down into the well. "Who is there? Who cries like this?" The alien woman froze, her breath caught. Could it be? A human had heard her. The voice came again, closer this time. "Don't be afraid, I will not leave you." Her silver eyes filled with tears. She had been ready to die, but now a new hope was born. The human's shadow appeared above the well, a rope in his hands, but before he could lower it, the woman heard something else. From the darkness behind her came a wet, crawling sound. Something alive was moving in the slime of the well. She turned, her body shaking. 2 red lights blinked. In the blackness, like eyes, the human shouted down, "Hold on, I'm coming for you." But the creature was already awake, and the alien woman was not alone anymore. The rope touched the edge of the well, swaying in the cold air. The human's hands held it tight, his voice firm. "Climb. I will pull you. Do not give up." The alien woman looked up, her silver eyes shining in the dim light. Her body was weak. Her arms hurt, but she reached for the rope. Every pull of her hand burned like fire, but she forced herself higher. She wanted to live. She wanted to escape this death. The sound behind her grew louder. Slime splashed as something moved along the stones. The red eyes glowed brighter, blinking. With hunger, a sharp hiss filled the well like metal scraping against stone. Her breath grew fast, her heart pounded. "What is that?" she whispered. The human leaned closer, hearing the sound. "Move faster. Something is down there with you," he shouted. The alien woman climbed with all her strength, her body shaking, her legs bleeding from sharp rocks. The creature lunged. From the shadows, its shape was twisted, part flesh, part machine. Its arms were long and thin, ending in claws that cut into the wall. Its mouth opened wide, dripping black liquid that hissed when it touched stone. She screamed, her hand almost slipping. The human pulled harder, his arms straining. "Hold the rope! Don't let go!" he cried. The creature struck at her leg, but she swung away. Its claws tore the rope, small fibers snapping. The rope shook. The human's face filled with fear, but he did not let go. He pulled with all his strength. The woman reached the top, her hands grabbing the edge. The human leaned down, catching her wrist with a final pull. He dragged her out of the well. She fell to the ground, gasping, her body covered in mud. The creature screamed from below. Its voice was broken, half machine, half beast. The sound carried through the night, like thunder. Then silence as it sank back into the filthy water. The human knelt beside her, his breathing heavy. "You are safe now," he said. The alien woman looked at him, confused and afraid. "No one ever answers," she whispered. "Why did you answer?" The human did not speak for a moment. He only looked at her, seeing her strange eyes, her wounded skin. "You cried for help," he said at last, "and I could not walk away." The woman's heart shook. No human had ever spoken to her like this. No alien had ever cared. Her people had thrown her into death, but this stranger had risked his life to save her. The night grew colder, the stars brighter above. The human helped her stand, supporting her with his arm. "We cannot stay here," he said. "Others will come." She nodded, her voice weak. "They will hunt me. They will kill you too if they see you with me." The human's jaw tightened, his eyes steady. "Then we hide, but I will not leave you." Far away, the sound of engines echoed in the dark sky. The woman's eyes widened. She knew what it meant. Her people, the hunters, had already begun their search. Her time was running out, and now the human's life was tied to hers. The two of them moved into the night, shadows covering their steps. But in the silence of the land, another sound followed them. The hiss of claws, the drip of black liquid. The creature from the well had not given up, and it wanted them both. The human led the alien woman through a narrow path between dead trees. The night was heavy, the moon hiding behind dark clouds. Every step was slow, her legs weak, her body trembling from pain. He kept his arm around her, guiding her forward. "Just a little more. I know a place where no one comes," he whispered. At last they reached an old shelter, broken and hidden under rocks. Inside, the air smelled of dust and iron, but it was safe. The human lit a small fire, the flames casting shadows on the walls. The alien woman sat near it, her hands shaking, her eyes silver and tired. For a long time she said nothing. Her gaze stayed on the fire, as if the flames held her past. The human studied her, wondering who she really was. Finally he spoke, his voice low but steady. "You are not like them, not like the soldiers I have seen." Her lips trembled. She looked at him, her eyes shining, in the firelight. "No, I am not like them," she said, her voice filled with sorrow. "They threw me away because I refused. I refused to kill." The human frowned, his heart heavy with her words. "Refused to kill who?" he asked. She turned her face to the shadows as if afraid to say it, then she whispered, "Your people, the humans." The fire cracked. Silence filled the shelter. The human stared at her, his breath sharp. She had been ordered to bring death, but she had denied it. And for that, her own kind had called her traitor. They punished her not with chains but with the filthy well of death. She closed her eyes, tears sliding down her pale skin. "They wanted me to command the shadows, to spread fear and darkness across your cities." Her hands lifted, and for the first time the human saw it. The fire bent around her fingers, the shadows on the wall twisted as if alive. The air grew cold, the shelter darker. Then she dropped her hands. The fire returned to normal. Her voice was weak but steady. "This power, it is not mine alone. It was forced into me. It is a weapon, a curse." The human leaned closer, his eyes filled with fear and wonder. "You could destroy us all," he whispered. She nodded slowly. "Yes, I could. But I never will. I would rather die." Silence returned, heavy and sharp. The human sat beside her, his thoughts tangled. He had saved her, but now he understood the danger. If the hunters found her, they would use her again. If his own people found her, they would kill her before asking questions. The alien woman looked at him, her voice almost breaking. "I cannot go back. My people will hunt me. Your people will fear me. I belong nowhere." The human's eyes softened, his voice quiet but firm. "You belong here, at least tonight, and as long as I live, I will not let them take you." For a moment, her heart felt warm. In all her life, no one had spoken to her like this, but hope was fragile, like glass ready to break. She leaned against the wall, her body weak, her eyelids heavy. Her last words before sleep were strange, filled with mystery. She whispered a code, soft and broken. "Sigma. 13. Black Star." The human froze, his blood cold. Those words were not alien, they were human words. How could she know them? How could she speak them? He stared at her as she drifted into sleep, the fire crackling, the shadows dancing. His mind, filled with questions, his heart heavy with fear. What secret did this alien woman carry, and why did it feel like the fate of both worlds was tied to her? The night passed slowly. The fire in the shelter burned low. The human did not sleep. His eyes stayed on the alien woman as she rested. Her words, strange and heavy, repeated in his mind. Sigma, 13, Black Star. They were not the words of a dying woman, but a secret code, a dangerous one. Outside, the land was silent, but silence often hides danger. Far above the clouds, lights moved across the sky. A fleet of alien ships circled, like predators, their engines whispering in the night. They were searching, and their hunt had already begun. At dawn, the alien woman woke, her body still weak but her eyes sharper. "They are close," she whispered. "I can feel them." The human looked out from the broken wall of the shelter. "What do you mean?" he asked. She closed her eyes, her silver pupils glowing faintly. "The shadows. They carry sound. They carry movement. The hunters are near." Moments later, the sound of boots echoed across the valley, heavy, cold, and cruel. The human's chest tightened. He saw them at last, a line of alien soldiers moving through the trees, their armor black, their weapons burning with blue fire. They stopped in the village nearby, their leader shouting, "Bring her out. The traitor hides among you. If you protect her, you die with her." The villagers gathered in fear, their eyes wide, their voices low. Some swore they had seen nothing. Others trembled and pointed in random directions. The soldiers pushed them aside, tearing open doors, searching every corner. The human clenched his fists, his heart filled with anger. "They will search here next," he said. The alien woman touched his arm, her voice urgent. "You must leave me if they find you. With me, they will kill you too." But he shook his head, his voice steady. "No, I saved you once. I will not abandon you now." The soldiers moved closer, their boots striking stone. One soldier bent low, touching the ground with a scanner. The device beeped, showing faint marks, footprints leading from the well to the shelter. The leader snarled, his voice sharp. "She is here, move!" The human's heart raced. He grabbed the woman's hand, pulling her deeper into the ruins. They moved through broken walls, broken halls, their breaths sharp and fast. Behind them, the sound of metal feet grew louder. The soldiers were spreading out, closing in from every side. The alien woman stopped suddenly, her eyes glowing. "No, we cannot run forever," she whispered. The human turned, confused. "What do you mean?" She raised her hand, and the fire in the shelter died at once. The shadows in the corners stretched, long and sharp. The walls themselves seemed to bend. The human stepped back, fear in his chest. Her voice was low, almost broken. "I did not want to use this, but they will kill us both if I do not." The first soldier stepped inside, his weapon ready. But before he could fire, the shadows rose like living snakes, wrapping around his arms and neck. He screamed, dropping his weapon. His body pulled into the darkness. The other soldiers shouted, firing blue flames into the room. The shadows twisted, swallowing the fire, bending it away. The human watched in shock, torn between fear and awe. The alien woman's silver eyes glowed brighter, her hands trembling. "I cannot hold this for long," she gasped. "Then we run," the human said, grabbing her arm, pulling her toward the broken exit. They burst into the morning light, smoke rising behind them. The soldiers shouted, giving chase, their weapons blazing. The human and the woman ran into the forest, the sound of battle chasing their steps. The woman's powers faded, the shadows shrinking back into silence. Her breath came heavy, her body weak again. The human carried her weight, his eyes burning with determination. He would not let them take her, not after everything, but behind them. The alien leader stepped out of the ruins, his face cruel, his voice sharp. "Run, traitor. Run with your human pet. It will not matter. We will find you, and when we do, the both of you will die." The hunt had truly begun, and there was no turning back. The forest hid them for hours, branches cutting at their faces as they ran. The human led the alien woman along hidden paths only villagers knew. Her body leaned on him, heavy with exhaustion, but her spirit refused to break. When at last they reached the edge of his village, The morning sun was climbing into the sky. The village was quiet, smoke rising from chimneys, children hiding inside homes. Fear lived in the air, for every villager had heard the voice of the alien leader. They knew soldiers were near, searching for the traitor, and fear has a way of turning neighbors into enemies. The human pulled her into his small hut, closing the door quickly. "Stay here, rest, I will bring food," he said. But she grabbed his wrist, her silver eyes trembling. "They will know. They will see the mud on your boots, the scratches on your arms." He shook his head, his voice firm. "I will tell them nothing, trust me." While she rested in the shadows of the hut, he stepped outside. Villagers gathered in small groups, whispering in low voices. Their eyes followed him, suspicion sharp in their gaze. One man, tall and bitter, stepped forward. "You were out last night," the man said. "We saw you leave. Where did you go?" The human's heart tightened, but his voice stayed calm. "I hunted. I brought back nothing. The forest was empty." The man narrowed his eyes, anger burning in them. Empty? At the same time, soldiers came searching? "Do not lie. We know. You hide something?" The whispers grew louder, villagers looking at one another. Fear turned to anger. Anger turned to danger. The human clenched his fists, but before he could speak, the tall man raised his hand. "If you protect her, they will kill all of us. Better one man dies than a whole village." Behind him, children cried, women pulled them close. The human's chest grew heavy. He wanted to scream, but his voice broke into silence. And then, boots echoed on stone, sharp and cold. The alien soldiers had reached the edge of the village, their leader's voice carrying across the air. "Bring her out. The traitor hides among you. Show her to us, and we will spare your lives." The tall man's eyes gleamed with fear and greed. He stepped forward, shouting, "She is here. She is in the hut of the human." The human froze, his blood turning cold. The villagers gasped, some looking away in shame, others nodding in fear. The soldiers advanced, weapons raised, their dark armor shining under the sun. Inside the hut, the alien woman felt the shift in the air. She stood weakly, her hands trembling. Through the cracks in the wood, she saw the soldiers coming. She heard the human's voice outside, shouting in anger, "Cowards! You betray your own. You sell a life to save yourselves." But the soldiers did not stop. Their boots drew closer. Her chest burned, her silver eyes glowed. She raised her hands, shadows stretching across the floor. She did not want to fight, but she could not allow him to die for her. The door burst open. Soldiers rushed in. Before they could fire, darkness swallowed the room. The walls twisted, the floor split into black lines. The shadows became claws, striking with silent fury. The soldiers screamed, their weapons torn from their hands. The air grew colder. The fire in their torches died. Even the villagers outside stepped back in. Fear! The human ran into the hut, his eyes wide at the sight. She stood in the center, her face pale, her body shaking. Her voice was filled with sorrow as the shadows crushed the soldiers' weapons to dust. "I never wanted this, but you leave me no choice." The leader of the soldiers stepped forward, unfazed by the darkness. His cruel smile cut through the fear. "You think this power will save you? It only proves you are what we say you are, a weapon, not a person." The alien woman trembled, her power fading. The human stepped beside her, his hand on her shoulder, his voice firm. "She is not a weapon. She is not your slave. She is free, and I will stand with her." The villagers gasped, torn between fear of the soldiers and awe at his courage. The tall man who betrayed him stepped back, regret flashing in his eyes. But it was too late. The hunters had marked them both, and nothing would stop the storm that was coming. The air in the hut was heavy, filled with smoke and silence. The shadows that had risen from the alien woman's hand sank back into the floor. Her body shook, weak and pale, sweat shining on her skin. The human held her steady, his heart beating fast. Outside, the villagers watched with wide eyes, torn between fear and guilt. The alien soldiers had fallen back, their weapons broken, their leader furious. He raised his fist, his voice cold and sharp. "This is not over, traitor. We will take you, and the human who dares protect you." With a signal, the soldiers retreated into the forest, leaving the village tense and trembling. The human turned to the woman, whispering, "They will come back with more. Stronger than before, we must leave." She nodded slowly, her silver eyes filled with sorrow. "There is something you must know, before you risk your life for me any further." He frowned, confused, but waited. Her voice shook as she spoke, every word carrying weight. "My exile was not only for refusing to kill, there was more. I was guardian of something. Something too dangerous for any world." The human's breath caught. "What do you mean?" She lowered her head, her hands trembling. "My people created a weapon, ancient and forbidden. It is not fire, not steel, but a force that can erase entire cities in seconds. It feeds on light, it drinks shadows, and once released, it cannot be stopped." The human stepped back, shock in his eyes. "And you were meant to guard it?" Her voice grew soft, broken. "Yes, I swore to protect it, to keep it sealed forever. But my leaders betrayed me, they stole it, they want to use it against your kind. They say it will break your armies, bend your people to their will." Silence filled the hut, broken only by the crackle of dying fire. The human's hands clenched, anger rising in his chest. "If they use this weapon, it will kill millions, both alien and human." She nodded, her face pale. "I know. That is why I refused. That is why they threw me into the well. They wanted me gone, so no voice could warn you." Her silver eyes looked into his, shining with desperate hope. "But now you know, and maybe together we can stop it." Before he could answer, a sound broke the moment, a deep growl, heavy and metallic, coming from the forest. The villagers froze, children cried. The tall man who had betrayed them stumbled backward in fear. From the tree line, a massive shape emerged, a beast of steel and flesh built by alien hands. Its body was armored, its eyes glowed red. Its arms ended in blades that dripped with black oil. It was not a soldier, not an animal, but something in between, a hybrid, a hunter beast. The villagers screamed and ran, doors slamming, fires dying. The human pulled the woman behind him, his voice urgent, "Stay back, I will fight it." But she grabbed his arm, shaking her head. "No, this is not a creature of nature. It was made to capture me. It will not stop, not until it has me." The beast roared, slashing the ground, sparks flying, its red eyes locked onto them, unblinking, unfeeling. The human raised a broken spear from the hut, his hands steady despite his fear. The alien woman's voice broke through the chaos. "If it takes me, they will win. They will unlock the weapon fully. You must not let me fall into their hands." The beast charged, the ground shaking beneath its weight. The human held his spear firm, his jaw set. The alien woman lifted her trembling hands, shadows gathering again. Light bent, fire died, darkness spread across the village. Together they faced the monster, human courage and alien power standing side by side. The battle for survival had begun, and with it the battle for two worlds. The beast roared, its red eyes glowing like fire in the night. Its claws tore the ground, sparks flying as metal scraped against stone. The villagers screamed and fled, slamming doors, hiding in fear. The human stood firm with his broken spear, his body tense, his heart racing. The alien woman raised her hands, shadows swirling around her. But her strength was weak, her breath heavy, her power fading too fast. The beast charged, and the ground shook with every step. "Run," she whispered, her voice breaking. The human grabbed her hand, pulling her away as the monster struck. The hut collapsed behind them, crushed under steel claws. They ran into the forest, branches whipping their faces. The beast followed, its roars echoing, its steps heavy. Every tree it touched splintered, every rock it struck shattered. The human's lungs burned, but he did not stop. He guided her through hidden trails, through old paths long forgotten. Still, the beast was always close, its glowing eyes never losing them. Hours passed like minutes, fear driving their steps. At last, they reached the edge of the ruins. The ground opened into broken stone, cracked towers reaching into the sky. This place was old, older than the village, older than even the war. The alien woman stopped, her eyes wide, her voice trembling. These ruins, they were not made by my kind nor by yours. They are older, from a time when humans and aliens once stood together. The human looked at her in shock. Together? We were allies? She nodded, her silver eyes glowing faintly. Yes, long ago. Before betrayal. Before war. There was peace. They moved deeper into the ruins. Walls carved with strange symbols. Images of humans and aliens standing side by side, holding weapons of light, fighting against monsters that looked like shadows. The human touched one carving, his fingers tracing the figures. My people never told us this, he whispered. Her voice grew heavy, filled with sorrow. Mine. Either history is not always told. Sometimes it is buried. A sudden roar broke the silence. The beast had followed them into the ruins, its claws slammed against the stone, breaking carvings, crushing walls. The alien woman stumbled, her body weak. The human pulled her into a narrow hall, the walls closing tight around them. They ran through twisting passages, their steps echoing. Behind them, the beast forced its way in, stone falling as it pushed forward. At the heart of the ruins, they found a chamber. The air was cold, the walls covered in ancient marks. In the center stood a crystal pod, glowing faintly with blue light. Inside the pod was a child, small and still, but not fully human, not fully alien. Its skin was pale like hers, its eyes closed but glowing faintly beneath the lids. The human froze, his voice barely a whisper. What is this? The alien woman's breath caught, tears filling her eyes. This is what I was meant to protect. Not only the forbidden weapon, but this child, this life, the last proof that our worlds were once one. The beast roared again, breaking. Through the last wall, its red eyes fixed on them, its blades dripping black oil. The chamber shook, dust falling from the ceiling. The pod glowed brighter, the child's eyelids fluttering. For the first time it moved, a hand pressing against the crystal. The human and the woman stood frozen between past and present, the beast closing in, the child awakening, the ruins shaking. And for the first time hope and danger filled the same breath. The chamber shook as dust rained from the ceiling. The beast roared, its red eyes locked on the two fugitives, its blades cut through stone, as if it were nothing. But the human and the alien woman stood frozen, their eyes on the glowing pod. Inside, the child stirred, its hand pressing weakly against the crystal. The light grew brighter, filling the chamber with a soft blue glow. For a moment, the beast stopped, its head tilting as if confused. The alien woman whispered, her voice trembling. It lived. After all this time, it still lives. The human stared in shock. What is it? What does this mean? Her silver eyes shone in the light, sorrow mixing with hope. This child is not like me, not like you. It is both. It was created when our worlds were one, when humans and aliens fought together against the darkness. It carries the blood of peace, the blood of unity. That is why I was chosen to guard it. The beast roared again, snapping the moment apart. It lunged forward, claws cutting into the ground. The human pushed her aside, raising his broken spear. The weapon clashed against metal, sparks flying, but the beast was stronger, forcing him back. The alien woman raised her hands, shadows crawling along the walls. She sent them forward, wrapping around the beast's legs. It stumbled, roaring. In fury, blades slashing through the darkness. The pod glowed brighter, the child's eyes opening at last. They were not silver, not brown, but both, shimmering with two colors at once, the chamber filled with strange energy. The human felt it in his chest, warm and sharp. The beast screeched, stepping back as if the light burned it. The alien woman fell to her knees, her voice breaking. This is the truth I hid. This is the reason they cast me away. They did not only want me gone, they wanted this forgotten. For if humans knew of this child, they would never fear us, and if aliens knew, they would question the war. The human's eyes widened. They lied to us both, they buried our history. She nodded, her tears shining in the blue glow. They wanted war, not peace. They wanted control, not truth. The beast recovered, its roar shaking the chamber. It leapt again, blades cutting through the air. The human stood in front of her, refusing to move. "If you want her, you must go through me," he shouted. But before the beast could strike, the child inside the pod lifted its hand. The glow burst outward, a wave of light stronger than fire. The beast screamed, its metal body smoking, its red eyes dimming. It stumbled back, crashing into the walls, rocks falling around it. The chamber fell silent, only the glow of the pod remained. The child's eyes closed again, its hand sliding down the glass. The alien woman crawled forward, her hand pressed against the crystal. Her voice was filled with awe and pain. "It protects us even in its sleep. It is more than a child. It is the key to peace or to war." The human stood beside her, his body shaking from battle. "If your people find this, they will use it. If mine find it, they may destroy it." She looked at him, her voice soft. "Then we must protect it, no matter the cost. For this child does not belong to them. It belongs to the future of both worlds." The ruins groaned, cracks spreading across the ceiling. The beast's broken body twitched, not yet dead. Time was running out, danger was not gone. The human lifted her to her feet, his voice steady. "Then we protect it together. But first, we must survive." The ruins shook as the ceiling cracked. Dust and stone fell around them, the air heavy with danger. The beast still lived, its broken body twitching, red eyes flickering with rage. Its metal claws scraped the ground, dragging itself closer step by step. The human stood firm, his spear broken in half, his breath heavy but his will unshaken. The alien woman leaned on him, her silver eyes glowing faint but fierce. She whispered, "You cannot fight it alone. It will kill you." He shook his head, voice steady. "If I fall, then you must live and protect the child." The pod glowed softly behind them, the hybrid child sleeping once more. The light from within gave strength to the alien woman. She raised her hands, shadows crawling across the floor. But her body trembled, every movement draining her. The beast roared, charging forward with sudden speed. Its blades cut the air, sharp enough to tear stone. The human pushed her aside and met the strike. The spear splintered, sparks flying. The force threw him back, pain exploding in his chest. He coughed, blood staining his lips, but still he rose again. The beast swung again, claws ripping across his arm. Yet he did not run. He stepped forward, blocking the path to the child. The villagers had followed from the forest, hiding among the ruins. They watched in silence, fear written on every face. Some whispered, "He is mad." Others whispered, "He is brave." But none dared move. None dared help. The alien woman cried out, her voice filled with pain. "Stop, you will die for me, you cannot win." But the human smiled weakly, his eyes never leaving the beast. "Then I will die standing, because you are not a weapon, you are more than what they made you, and someone must believe that." Her heart broke at his words. All her life she had been called traitor, tool, or danger. But never had anyone stood before death only to protect her. Tears slid down her pale skin, her power rising from sorrow and rage. The shadows bent, rising like a storm, twisting around her hands. The beast struck again, claws raised to tear the human apart. But before it could, the shadows exploded outward. They wrapped the beast in coils of black, dragging it to the ground. It roared, slashing wildly, but the darkness held firm. The alien woman screamed, her eyes blazing silver light. The villagers gasped, watching her true power unleashed. The beast fought harder, its metal blades cutting into the walls. The ruins shook, stone falling everywhere. The human staggered forward, standing at her side. Though wounded and weak, his hand gripped hers. "I am with you," he whispered. Together their strength grew. The shadows thickened. The beast's red eyes dimmed as the darkness swallowed it whole. Its final roar echoed, then silence fell. The chamber trembled one last time before the beast collapsed into ash and broken metal. The ruins grew still, the dust settling in heavy silence. The villagers stepped forward at last, their eyes wide, Some knelt, ashamed of their betrayal. Others stood in awe. They had seen a human and an alien fight as one. They had seen courage, sacrifice, and power united. The alien woman fell to her knees, exhausted, her shadows fading. The human dropped beside her, his body bleeding, his breath shallow. She caught him, holding him close, her tears falling. "You gave everything even when the world gave you nothing," she whispered. Her heart ached, afraid he would slip away in her arms. The pod glowed again, faint but warm. The child's eyes flickered open, two colors shining in the darkness. It pressed its hand to the glass, light spreading across the chamber. The warmth touched the human's wounds, slowing the bleeding. The alien woman gasped, her silver eyes wide. "The child. It is saving you." The villagers bowed their heads, silence heavy with awe. For the first time they did not see a monster. They saw hope, but the human, half-conscious, whispered weakly, "It is not over. They will come again." His voice was faint, but his spirit still unbroken, and the alien woman knew he was right. The last battle was still waiting for them. The ruins lay silent, broken walls standing like the bones of giants. The air was heavy with dust and smoke, the echoes of battle fading away. The human lay weak in the alien woman's arms, his wounds deep but his spirit alive. The pod still glowed faintly. The hybrid child inside watching with eyes of two colors. The villagers stood at a distance, their fear melting into wonder. They had seen shadows obey her command. They had seen a man face death for her. Now they could not call her a monster, nor call him a fool, for together they had done what no army could. The alien woman's hands trembled as she held him, her silver eyes filled with tears, her voice a whisper. "You should not have risked your life. You should have let me go." But the human smiled weakly, his breath shallow. "If I had left you, I would have lost more than my life. I would have lost what makes me human." Her heart broke, but it also grew stronger. No one had ever believed in her. No one had ever stood by her side. Yet this one man had answered her cry when her own people left her to die. She touched his cheek gently, her voice firm. "Then we will stand together, no matter what comes." Suddenly the ground shook once more. From above, alien ships descended, their engines roaring like thunder. Dark figures moved in the sky, their weapons glowing. The hunters had returned, stronger, and they had seen the glow of the ruins. The villagers panicked, their voices breaking. "They are here, they will kill us all." The alien woman stood tall, though her body trembled. She looked at the pod, the child within, and whispered, "It is time." The crystal cracked, light spilling out like water. The child stepped forward, small, fragile, but glowing with strange energy. Its eyes, half human and half alien, looked at them with calm. When it spoke, its voice was soft yet carried power. "Do not fear, I am not weapon, I am not curse, I am bridge." The villagers froze. The human stared. Even the woman's breath caught. The child lifted its hand, and the sky seemed to bend. The light from above twisted, the ships pausing in their descent. The hunters shouted commands, but their weapons would not fire. Their engines sputtered, their systems failing in the glow. The alien leader's voice echoed through the sky, furious and desperate. "You cannot stop us, the war is already ours." But the child's voice rose louder, firm and pure. "No, war ends here, because one human chose to answer, and because one alien chose mercy." The light spread across the ruins, washing over the villagers. It touched the human, closing his wounds slowly. It touched the woman, easing her pain. Even the soldiers above froze, their weapons falling silent. For the first time, fear left their eyes, replaced by awe. The alien woman knelt before the child, her silver eyes shining. "You are the truth they tried to bury, the hope they tried to kill." The human, weak but standing, whispered, "You are the answer." The child looked at both of them, its small voice soft. "The answer is not me alone. It is all of you. One human who would not turn away. One alien who refused to kill. and those who choose to stand together instead of apart. The villagers bowed their heads, their fear melting into courage. For the first time, they saw not an alien and a human, but two lives bound by trust, standing against the darkness. The ships in the sky pulled back, engines fading. The hunters had no power here anymore. The ruins glowed brighter, then slowly grew still. The child stepped back into the shadows, fading like mist, but its words remained, echoing in every heart. The human and the alien woman stood together, their hands joined. They had no promise of peace, no easy road ahead, but they had something greater, hope. And so the story ended as it began, with a cry in the darkness, answered by one human, a cry that changed two worlds forever.